Hey, good evening. I feel nervous today for some reason. I don't know why. Hope you can hear me okay. How's everyone doing today? It's Wednesday Night Live again. Hope your week is going well. If you come on live when I'm here, comment and say live. If you watch this on replay, say replay, so I know when you're watching it. Because of course this is a new series, and I'll be making a note of what time's best and open to changing it and stuff like that. But good to have you here. Like I said, I've a bit nervous today. I've got my water. If you come on, go get yourself something to drink. Last week I had wine. I thought I'll go for the water today and keep it a bit calm. Let me check before I jump in that I am actually live. Just one moment. So comment in the comment section, how your day's been, what's gone really well today, what hasn't. It'd be good to know. Let's see, nearly there. Okay, I think I'm live. Excellent. So I'll go ahead and get started. So for this series, if you saw the video from last week, we are going to be using this as a space to talk about money, share tips, and I'll be, like I said, picking questions that I get and sort of sharing my thoughts on them. So for this week, I thought I'll look at a question about how to handle those expenses that don't fit into the monthly mode. So things that you can't put on direct debit, things that come out in bulk, because we talk about having a budget, having it done monthly. What about those payments that don't quite fit into that you can't do it monthly? It has to be in bulk. So I've made some notes. So I'm thinking things like MOT, that you do it once a year. Things like, I know, for example, my backup provider for my data and all of that has to be done once a year. I know there are lots of things that have to be done once a year. So how do you fit in things like that? First of all, stating the obvious, seeing as what we've just talked about, maybe it's worth speaking to the provider. Is there a way to spread it out? So here in the UK, for example, something like council tax, when you get the bill, at first it looks like you have to pay all at once, or you can only spread it onto the smallest amount of time. I always think if you can spread it out evenly across the year, that's always what I would think is a good option to go for, so that there's no surprises. You know exactly what's coming in, what's going out at the start of you keep it consistent every month. So if that's not possible, you try that, and it absolutely has to be that way. I have a few suggestions. So first of all, there's things called Piggy Banks. So now this is not one I've personally tried myself, but it is an option that a lot of people have found useful. So there are certain banks that would allow you have smaller accounts specifically for the purpose of saving. What you can do with that is have each one for any of those items that need to be paid in bulk. And then what you do each month, you work out how much is it going to be when it comes up, and then divide it over the course of, however long you have to pay it. So if over the course of a year, how much do you need to put into that on a monthly basis, so that when the time comes for that payment, you have enough in there. You decide what that amount is, and you pay it into that piggy bank every month. Now, these are separate accounts specific to each category that you need to pay. And when the time comes, there's no surprises. You have it, you're ready, you're good to go, and you pay that. I'm just looking at myself. I use my hands a lot, don't I? Okay, so that's the first option. The other option you have is something called an emergency fund. Now, this is something that I have used in the past and I've talked about as well. So usually this is for items that are emergencies. So why strictly this doesn't count as an emergency, but if the hassle of opening various accounts doesn't appeal to you, you can use this account to do the same thing. I mean, the idea of an emergency fund, you don't touch it unless there's an emergency. If you've decided how much you want to have in an emergency account, anything extra to that you can use that account as well to put in the amount for all of these, bulk payments that come out less frequently. That's an account you can use for that as well. Now, for both the piggy bank option and the emergency fund, it is recommended, I would recommend you have a standing order in place from your bank going to do that, because that just automates it. You don't have to think about it. You don't forget. The money doesn't, decide to go do something else. You have it automated. Preferably, if you've seen my other video about how to start a budget, you have it as close to payday as possible, so that it's spending the least amount of time within your main bank account sitting there and being tempted to use it. Okay. And then, of course, there is also the option of putting it in a savings account where possibly you could be earning some interest in it. Now, again, this is something I've talked about. There are different types of savings accounts out there where you can earn anywhere from 5% to, of course, the smallest ones, which is the 0.1% and things like that. But either way, that will be adding to what you already have in there, and why not take that if that is an option. Be sure to look out for accounts though that are not going to penalize you for trying to get money out, because it's no point doing that. Hello, hi, there we go. I can see you watching. How are you? So yeah, just look out for those. You don't want to be penalized for wanting to collect your money. You want to make sure it's an account that will let you withdraw your money at any point when you need to use it. But that is there as an option. And the last one, now it's something that I've not seen here very much. So you probably know that I grew up in Nigeria, which I've talked about it before. I am Nigerian. And something that they used to do, like I said, I've not seen it here. A group of people would get together, and people that you trust. I know money can be a touchy subject, but it seemed to work out quite well for the people that I saw growing up. People that you trust, you get together and you decide on an amount that you're all going to put together and give a lump sum to each person every month, or however, whatever the frequency is that you've decided that that's going to be. And what that does is give that person a lump sum amount that they can put towards anything. And a lot of people really found that useful. Now, there you don't have the security of a bank or the guarantees, so I would not recommend doing this unless these are people you really, really trust and have some way to guarantee that you're not going to end up with someone deciding not to pay. Now, that, like I said, that's you've got to trust the people, but that is something else that I saw really worked for people getting a lump sum amount in one time, and really being able to use that to put into any big payments that you want to do. So those were the suggestions I have on there. Let me know if you have any other suggestions. Let us share. That's what this space is about. And then just the final thing, just before I go, I wanted to give a brief update, because I know that I did talk about the highest interest savings accounts that we have in the UK, and I have an update on one of them, which is quite sad actually, because it's the one that I bank with, and if you're with them, just something for you to look out for. So this is the Santander 123 accounts. They were on the list for the highest interest savings account, but starting from May of 2020, so you have a few months to prepare for that, what they're going to be giving in cashback, because they had really high cashback rates, that's going to be dropping significantly. So if you are paying the £5 a month fee to keep the Santander 123 account, you might want to go back and work out the numbers, see whether it's still worth it for you, based on the amount that you're getting in cash back versus what you're paying out. And there might be other options for you to look out as well. So I just got that information today, and I wanted to touch base because, one, it's the bank that I'm with, and it's something that I shared a few months ago as one of the highest interest rate savings accounts. So yeah, there we go with that one. Okay, so those are my thoughts for today. Like I said, these lives are going to be short. Send in your questions. I have a few lined up for the next few weeks, and we'll get the nerves down. We'll do some more talking. All right, well, have a good rest of the week, everyone. Look after your money. Plan it. It's the middle of the month. Can you believe it? Don't get caught out in the month of January, which can be quite long. It's not too late to get some planning. Spend some time over the weekend. Look at what's gone out so far. Plan out what's going to happen for the next couple of weeks, and you'll be fine. All right, take care. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.